Alien veteran finally reveals what it was like fighting alongside humans. My name is Vesk Taren of the Yulari Legion, survivor of the Tryon Front. For decades, I refused to speak of what happened there. But lately, I dream again of the humans. 1. The first arrival. When humanity joined the Galactic Concord, we laughed. They were small, fragile things, bones like glass, skin without armor, weak hearts that beat too fast. The Yulari, with our layered chitin and redundant organs, considered them a curiosity at best. They came from what we classified as a Class 0 deathworld, but that only made them seem more pathetic. To live surrounded by danger did not make one strong, we thought it made one reckless. Then the war came. The Dravik swarm descended on the outer colonies with fire and teeth. Whole worlds fell in days. Every species pulled back, retreating to defensible sectors. Every species except the humans. They volunteered. We assumed they misunderstood the odds. They didn't. 2. The first battle. I first saw them on the scorched plains of Tryon 4. My regiment had been ordered to hold a defensive line until evac transports arrived. The swarm's numbers were beyond comprehension, waves of chitin and claws under a red sky. We'd already decided we would die there. The humans landed 2 hours before the assault. No artillery. No armor. Just 12 of them, wearing light exosuits marked with a blue insignia, UNSC Marine Division. Our commander protested. This is a hopeless line. What can 12 of you possibly do? The human in charge, a dark-haired woman named Captain Reyes, just smiled. Buy you time. We thought she was joking. She wasn't. 3. The siege. The swarm came at dawn, a living flood that blackened the horizon. We fired until our plasma cells ran dry. When the first wave broke through, we fell back toward the bunker. The humans didn't. They ran forward. I remember watching them through my visor, shapes moving in the smoke, laughing, screaming, singing. They fought like creatures that had never learned to fear extinction. When their guns overheated, they used blades. When their blades broke, they used their hands. One soldier was dragged down by 6 Dravik warriors. I looked away, then looked back just in time to see him rise, covered in blood that wasn't his. Later, when we found him, his left arm was broken in 3 places. He'd tied it to his rifle with wire and kept fighting. When I asked why, he said, didn't want to let the others down. 4. The aftermath. By nightfall, we were surrounded. The humans were out of ammunition. The captain ordered a retreat, but they didn't fall back. She radioed command, evac complete. A pause. Then the voice of a transport pilot, last ships away. You're clear. Reyes smiled. Copy that. Then she cut the line. We realized what she'd done only when the orbital bombardment started. She'd stayed behind to draw the swarm's attention, to keep them from chasing the transports. We watched from orbit as the surface burned. Their heat signatures vanished one by one. For 3 full minutes, we could still hear the humans' open comms, gunfire, static, and their voices. Not screaming. Singing. 5. The silence after. When the war ended, Tryon 4 was a wasteland. No living thing remained on the surface except fused glass and ash. The humans called it a victory. They returned home with fewer soldiers than they'd sent, yet they carried themselves like gods. The rest of the galaxy didn't understand. To us, victory meant survival. To them, it meant purpose. One of our strategists once said, humans win wars by making death part of their strategy. We laughed then. We don't laugh anymore. 6. The reunion. Years later, during peace talks, I met another human veteran. He was from the same unit as Captain Reyes, one of the few rescued from the surface by a medevac ship that never got the recall signal. He looked ordinary. No armor, no scars. Just a man drinking coffee, hands trembling slightly. I asked him, "Why do your kind do it? Why run toward death when others run away?" He looked at me for a long moment, then said, "Because someone has to." Then he smiled, tired, but proud. Besides, we're good at it. 7. What the galaxy learned. Since the war, the Council has quietly revised every military doctrine. Human inclusion is now mandatory in all high-risk operations. Entire academies study their psychology. They've become the galaxy's unwanted secret weapon. We call them deathworlders now, not as an insult, but a warning. They adapt where logic says survival is impossible. They fight when all others would surrender. They suffer, and somehow, they grow stronger for it. And when they lose one of their own, the vengeance that follows is biblical. I once heard a Dravic warlord describe humanity as a species that treats mercy as a tactical pause. I think that's the closest anyone's come to understanding them. 8. The memory. Sometimes I dream of Captain Reyes. In the dream, she's still standing in that burning trench, face streaked with soot, eyes bright. I can hear her shouting orders through the static, voice steady even as the world ends around her. She looks up at me, at the sky, at something beyond all of us and says, "Don't waste it." I never asked what she meant. But I think I know. She wasn't talking about the battle. She was talking about fear. Humans don't waste fear. They turn it into fire. 9. The legacy. I'm old now. My carapace is dull and cracked. My hatchlings think my stories are exaggerations. They don't believe any species could face the Dravic and survive. I let them laugh. Because one day, when the next war comes, and it will, they'll see the Terran flag rise again. And when it does, they'll understand what I learned on Tryon 4. Humans don't fight for victory. They fight to remind the universe that they are still here. And every time they bleed, the stars themselves seem to flinch.